Alright guys, Chili Games here, and the day is finally here. Let's see, when did these things come out? So, the Alaska, it is July 20th. Took us a month and a half, a little bit over a month and a half. We finally have our first legendary, and it is the USS Alaska. And this is, I think, my third game with it, and I gotta tell you, this is the only game out of, I think, maybe 6 that have actually been somewhat of an actual match. The rest have been just utter, pretty much blowouts the entire time. So this one, though, I think exemplifies really what this ship is all about. And what I found is it does have the 32mm bow, but my games previously, I found that it's not as tanky as I would have thought it to be. I'm not too, have to play it more obviously, but this game I got to get, well, finally got the guns in action. My first couple games, no one was alive long enough for me to really do anything in the ship. But this game honestly starts out pretty poorly. I didn't want to push towards that little island there at B. That's a terrible island. The opposite spawn gets that much bigger island there, and it's much easier to cap that B circle because you can hide behind there, and it gives you a lot more cover. So, and obviously I'm playing a little bit passive starting out because my last 3 games ended in just complete annihilation of friendly destroyers and whatnot, and it just kind of left me out to dry. So it's been rough, I gotta tell you. So this is why I recorded this one. This game is by no means anything insanely special, but this is the first time that I actually got to get a really good impression of what this ship brings to the table and what these guns are all about. And as you see, we have a Yudachi, who is pretty much way overextended. I mean, way overextended. They have a DD and B right there. That is why I moved over here, because I knew that DD was in B, and I was not close enough to radar, obviously, because I burned it. That is why I like using fully packed, because being able to use a radar like that is pretty nice, just knowing that I have 2 in the back that if I really need to use. Speaking of the radar, 30 seconds, 9-kilometer range. Not too impressed by it, to be honest. The biggest thing is, for one, it's legendary, and it's the same radar that we get for Baltimore and Wichita, so it's nothing super crazy. Compared to the Russian radar, which is, in my opinion, a little bit more effective. It's obviously not as long, but it's long enough to where you can string together about 3 full volleys of the Russian HE, and as long as you hit your shots, 3 volleys of any Russian cruiser against a destroyer is going to demolish this thing. The reload on these guns are around 18 seconds. I think I get mine down to about 17.6, I think. That is with the reload mod in the 4th slot. Obviously, I'm running the dispersion mod in the 1st slot. Then I'm also running propulsion, concealment, and, like I just said, the reload mod. And right here, I'm in a really bad spot. I'm spotted, so I know that the only way that I can be seen right now is through this gap right here. And I'm worried that I'm getting flanked by a destroyer, and not gonna lie, haven't done much this game. Haven't really been in a position to. We're still kind of getting situated here. And playing a little bit cautiously, but this little spot, this little nook that we get ourselves stuck in here is really epic. And I feel pretty confident, one, because I have teammates in front of me, and if you will notice, the Yudachi right here is actually caught in my, he's actually caught in my little perma radar, the sonar. So sonar reaches out to about 4.4 kilometers, so it's middle of the road, but he is going to be stuck in there, and that's actually going to work out perfectly because he does actually go down here finally get to get my guns firing on targets and undetected, obviously. And as you will see here, beautiful first shot, dispersion, 10 out of 10. The dispersion can be kind of wonky. It's not your typical, I don't know if this is official or not, but I'm pretty sure it's not your typical cruiser dispersion. And even then, Baltimore dispersion is kind of trolly. So that being said, I do think it's pretty consistent. I elect to go for the Iowa again since I already have another salvo of HE loaded pretty quickly. And finally this I think is one of the first few times I've actually got a nice broadside shot at somebody to shoot at. This AP absolutely smacks. The HE is actually really good as well. It pins pretty well, and the 30% fire chance does pretty good too. Shots are out on the Wichita, and 23,000 damage right now. End up getting a Citadel. So that was about 17,000 there. So yeah, the armor piercing is really, really good. And what's going to happen here is this Iowa is going to figure that same thing out. That is nuts. About 15,000 there, and you can do that pretty reliably. The guns on this thing, if you have the Scharnhorst, it is bigger than the Scharnhorst guns. I would probably say more accurate, but it's also the American Super Heavy. So your AP is astoundingly good. You can brawl battleships easily with this thing. As long as you're not being farmed by everyone else and their mothers. Because I have found that the armor is somewhat, it's not that it's lacking, but you're definitely on a battleship in terms of tankiness, especially against HE. You will be whittled down very, very quickly. Another AP shot there against the angled Iowa, about 7K there. Shooting the HE. Dispersion's pretty out there, but still 30% chance of fire. We stick him with the fire. And I was at this point where I was like, man, this is not good. We have 0 cap circles. Our only destroyer is AFK. So, you know, this is not looking any kind of good here. And I realized with the 32mm bow that I could theoretically poke my nose out here, get spotted, and battle tank the Iowa shells. But, you know, I really don't want to do that. I'm perfectly fine right here. And any health that I can conserve for, you know, later engagements, I'm going to take every single time. I don't want to push out into this cap because, you know, I really don't need to risk whatever destroyer is, because they still have a destroyer, and last time we saw he had some torpedoes to the right of us a couple of minutes ago. So I have no idea where this guy is. I was honestly expecting him to come up behind us. If he would have done that, I would have just gassed it and I would have cut straight into, like, to the right there, and I would have probably evaded torpedoes. 2 fires on the Iowa, he's dead. I elect not to shoot again. There's really no point. Because also, you know, with the reload being 17 seconds, you can get caught with your pants down if destroyers decide to rush you. You know, you really have to play this differently, and I'm figuring out it's really not a cruiser and it's really not a battleship. So the playstyles will vary. And right here, we catch somebody off guard. And I'm not sure why he's right here, but there is a Wichita broadside onto us there. Unfortunately, you're going to get a good look at the dispersion right here. Pretty bad dispersion roll right there. I'm not even going to lie, I was super disappointed. That could have been an easy Citadel for the kill, because the Citadel damage is, I think, right under 10,000 damage. So you are, what is that, a German AP Citadel damage? Citadel to finish that guy off feels pretty much dead. There is the torpedoes, so we know that the destroyers here. We start to load HE. Like I said, this game is probably, it's basically over. The other side, who I thought was dead in the beginning, actually did a really good job of holding out, and they survived, and they have stalled that push. So it let us kind of capitalize on this spawn over here and not lose anybody in the process. We have our radar up. My thoughts are, as soon as I am spotted, I am going to radar, and I elect to do that because I feel like he's at one of these islands. and we just barely get this Yudachi here. And if we didn't, we also have a Wichita to our left there, so he would have been able to radar as well. Which I think that's what he does, actually. I'm not sure how he gets spotted. He probably got radared there by the Wichita. But Wichita gets the kill on him. Super nice. That pretty much solidifies the entire game right there. 104,000 damage, like I said, nothing super crazy, but if you get a chance to get these guns firing, you know, repetitively, you're getting good AP pins, you're getting good fires. This thing is really consistent with fires, honestly. So I found the damage really stacks up quite quick. And, you know, it might not be as laser accurate, but if you Citadel something, that Citadel is going to hurt. I think Baltimore AP is right at 5,000 for a Citadel. This is basically double that, so... And you get better pin at longer ranges, so like those shots against battleships, because a lot of battleships decide to sell broadside, you can really punish them. So, this is my first actual really impression of the Alaska. Insane guns, pretty good speed. It's actually pretty. The rotor shift is 13 seconds, so it's not terrible. It's not bad. It feels very responsive. With that being said, with propulsion mod, you can get your speed going pretty quickly. Turret rotation isn't terrible. The reload honestly doesn't feel that bad, just because the guns that you're shooting every 17 seconds are really, really good. Sometimes maybe a little bit inconsistent, but for the most part, when they hit hard, and they hit consistently hard. So, pretty excited about that. I really hope to get some better gameplays in this, but again, playing solo with these things, because you cannot division up with tier 7s. I'm not sure why that is. It's quite disappointing, but that's just what we have to deal with right now. Most of the teams that I've been getting, 2 minutes go by and everyone's pretty much dead, and there's really nothing you can do, because as soon as you're focused in this thing, and you will be, because it's a legendary ship and everybody wants to shoot at it, there is not much for you to do. Anyways, guys, that's going to end this video. Alaska, we finally got it. I hope to bring you guys some better gameplays in it, but that is my actual first really good, more or less, impression of it. Hope you guys enjoy it, and I will see you next time. Peace.